A show created by the fans, for the fans. We are your home for Ohio State football coverage all year long. The Scarlet and Gray Podcast, a Network 216 production. Live weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at @VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Ohio State game day preview. Ohio State versus Youngstown State, the Buckeyes home opener against the Penguins. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Jordan Dalton, Nick Leisure. Gentlemen, how are we feeling on this Saturday afternoon?
Pretty good.
Excited, ready for a good bounce back week, home opener. So I'm sure the energy down at Ohio Stadium right now is electric, and ready to see a great game against the Youngstown State team.
I want to see some points today. Lots of points.
There should be a lot of points scored in this game, hopefully by only one team, and that's Ohio State. But just a reminder, guys, if you're going to watch today's video, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe. If you're brand new to Network 216, so close from reaching 2,000 subscribers, only 85 away. So again, you could subscribe for free, and it really helps support Network 216. Gentlemen, the Buckeyes are playing an interesting opponent today. Youngstown State. And the reason this is interesting is that the Buckeyes have not played an FCS opponent in well over 10 years. The last time was Florida A&M back in 2013, who Ohio State absolutely destroyed 76-0. The last time the Buckeyes played Youngstown State was 2007-2008. And they beat them 38-6 and 43-0. So first off, what are your thoughts on this game? Are you a little surprised by the opponent? Like, do you think it's too easy of a game? You always want tune-up games, but I feel like an FCS opponent, I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of scheduling those types of games.
I mean, I feel like it's got its pros and cons. I feel like you're going to get to see a lot of guys on the field. So these are kind of one of the games that I feel like Ohio State uses a little bit to kind of just evaluate where certain players are. Maybe like a third or fourth stringer that normally won't see the field, but they want to see them get some game time action. They'll throw them out there against a team like at Youngstown State. So I feel like they use these games in a lot of good ways. But, I mean, obviously your ones and twos aren't going to get as great of a look as you'd want, but it's definitely good to get the other guys on the field.
Yeah, I almost feel like these games are scrimmages more than they are actual games. Mm-hmm. But we do have a lot of questions that need answered, and the more playing time we can get, the better will be when Notre Dame comes up on the schedule. So I am just excited to see Kyle McCord just take another step in his growth. And I think a lot of Buckeye fans want to see that. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for him to get, 40 snaps, 50 snaps under his belt.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, I understand why you schedule these types of games. I've just always been a person that, like, I get you're going to have easy games. It's just when it comes to an FCS level, I just would prefer you schedule someone a little bit more tougher. But the Penguins do have a tough loss on offense. They lost running back Jaleel McLaughlin to the NFL. He's actually an amazing story from FCS Youngstown State. He ended up making the Denver Broncos as an undrafted free agent, which is an incredible story. But Youngstown loses a running back that was basically their entire offense. He had nearly 1,600 yards last year. Averaged 7 yards a carry, 13 touchdowns. He also had 300 receiving yards, 15.8 yards per reception, and 2 touchdowns. So they lose someone that was the complete focal point of their offense. But one thing that they do bring back, that is Bryce Oliver, the wide receiver, former transfer from North Carolina, 821 yards receiving, 13.9 yards per catch, 10 touchdowns, is the main receiving threat from the Penguins. So we've kind of covered Youngstown State. There really isn't a lot as far as like on them. Finding a lot of information on FCS teams is never easy. They do at the quarterback position, it's a little shaky for them because of the fact that their passing game has not done very well in 2022. They only completed 55% of their passes for 2,100 yards and 17 touchdowns. Not very spectacular by any means. First off, what do you guys want to see on Saturday in this game? Again, it's going to be hard either way to really draw conclusions from this. The Buckeyes win 50-3. I mean, great, but it's really hard to draw conclusions from how much did we really improve from last week. So what do you guys want to see this week from the Buckeyes?
I think just offensive execution, just making sure we're moving the ball. And it was almost the exact same thing we wanted to see last week. And I don't know if we really saw it, but just that rhythm and a little bit of chemistry between McCord and Marvin Harrison. And we saw it with that touchdown that got called back, an absolute dot thrown by McCord. And a lot of people forget that they play together. And I just want to see that connection more. But yeah, just execution on the offense, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see some consistency. Like, I know in Ryan Day's presser, he said he just wants to see the routine plays made routinely, and I just kind of agree with that. You just want to see him make the easy throws, the easy progressions, and I feel like they're going to open the playbook up a little bit more this week just to kind of see where Kyle is too, I think. And obviously, I hope we see both quarterbacks this week because, I mean, Devin Brown definitely needs to get some snaps to see what we have with him, especially, like, let's say, God forbid, McCord goes down and we need Brown to come in, kind of need to see what he has to bring. But, yeah, I mean, I just want to see consistency. And I want to see a big jump from the O-line, too. I mean, our quarterbacks and running backs should not be touched in the backfield today. So I'm really hoping to see that go Ohio State's way.
Yeah, I think with this game, execution is a big one. You want to see the offense take a step forward and at least show that we have improved. Again, it's so hard to judge from this because, again, the quality of the opponent, but you still want to just see execution. You want to see guys in the right spot. You want to see guys making plays. Definitely want to see the receivers get more involved this week, which I think they will. But here's what I wanted to ask you guys. Ryan Day, once again, has named Kyle McCord the starter for this week. I always thought that was expected, but it sounds like Devin Brown is expected to play a lot more in this game, and that if another quarterback were to play, it would be Tristan Gebbia over Lincoln Keenholz, he said. He said he'd like to play Lincoln at some point, but he would go Gebbia. Are you guys cool with Kyle McCord starting again this week? Or, JD, you mentioned earlier in the week on the last episode that if this truly was a battle, you think this would be a good game to start Devin Brown. So are you good with Kyle McCord starting this game, or what are your thoughts on how Ryan Day is managing the quarterback situation for Youngstown State?
I think it's a good decision. The more the practices have gone on, it seems like McCord's going to be QB1 for the foreseeable future. I think he's getting majority of the reps now in practice. So if he's your guy, give him that start, give him more playing time. But I still would like to see Devin Brown this game just because he was in it, and we still have a huge question mark at that position. So I think McCord's gonna do well though. The more I went back and watched the Indiana game, and he really didn't play bad. People were really blowing it out of proportion. Like he was making the easy throws. He had a couple throws, like he had one throw to Fleming over the middle that Fleming should have caught for a touchdown. Just stuff like that. I think he'll be fine, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I kind of get. The more I think about it, the more I watch some of the throws he made in the Indiana game. And also, I feel like Coach Day knows that if he would have started Devin Brown today, it could potentially split up a locker room too. So it's like, I feel like you have to kind of take that into consideration. Like, you just want to make sure the locker room understands, like, Kyle's the starter. He's going to be the guy going forward until otherwise. So I feel like that's something else that he had to keep in his mind, is you don't want to split up a locker room this early in the season. So I feel like going with McCourt's the right move.
Yeah, I do too. That was always the way I would have gone. I've said before, I'm cool if in this game Devin Brown plays the second half because it should be over by halftime. Devin Brown should play more. I think it's good that he does play more this week against Western Kentucky. We'll see what ends up happening there, but getting Devin Brown more playing time is going to be important because let's say Kyle McCord is going to be named starter, but let's say he ends up missing time at some point this year. You need Devin Brown to be ready to go. So it's always good that at least you can get your backup quarterback, because I am calling him backup because that's what I believe he is right now, just getting him those reps. But guys, as we're starting to wrap things up, who is a player that you want to see more from this week that maybe you didn't see enough from against Indiana?
Marvin Harrison Jr. That'd be cool. Just get him the ball way more. Just feed him the rock. Him and Emeka both. I mean, just the receiving core in general. I mean, I feel like other than Fleming, Stover was the main target that McCord had his eyes on. So I just want to see him get the skill guys more involved. I know that's easier said than done, but with how talented this group is, you guys, I mean, they should just be force feeding these guys all day long today. So I just want to see the offense have some explosive plays and kind of move the football quickly.
Yeah. I think for me, I want to see – and I know we saw him last week, and he played really well, and it really surprised me. I want to see more of Chip Trayanum in this game. I don't know how much we're going to see him, because if he truly is, it seems to be one of the lead backs on this Ohio State football team. He's probably not going to play a lot, and there's no need for him to play a lot. I just like so much of what I saw against Indiana and just the type of player that he is. I want to see him more against Youngstown State. As far as on the defensive side, I told you guys this on the last episode. I need to see more CJ Hicks. I still just can't comprehend the fact that he played one snap. I don't understand it. I don't know why, but CJ Hicks needs to be playing a lot more in this game, and there's no reason why he shouldn't play a good portion of this game. Nothing against Tommy Eichenberg and Steel Chambers, but I'm going to see what I got in the young kid, and I want to give him that opportunity, and I think he deserves that opportunity. All right, and as we're wrapping things up here, we're, of course, always going to ask this, even though we know where this is going to go. So, Nick, what are your thoughts on the spread this week? Would you take the Buckeyes to go over the spread, like you have them covering the spread, and then your game prediction?
Spread's big, man. It's a lot of points. I think it's at 41.5, 42.5, something like that. So that's a lot of points, and I mean, I'm going to say they're not going to cover. I mean, I hope they do, but I'm not going to bet on them to cover. I'm thinking maybe a final score. I think Youngstown State scores some points, so maybe 42-7, somewhere around there. But I'd say 42-7, just based off. They're going to get some younger guys some reps late in the game, so Youngstown State might score a garbage touchdown.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to go with 45-3.
Okay. All right,
So
I like it. I also don't think they covered the spread, and I want to say they did. But, I mean, even if you don't, I mean, you're expected to win by a lot. But to actually, if anyone's considering betting the spread in this game, I wouldn't. It's just so high. And when I see spreads like that, I just I would stay away from it.
Stay away.
The Buckeyes are going to win this game, though, and I think it's going to be pretty handily. I got them scoring 52 points this week. I think 52-7 is pretty fair. Actually, they would be covering the spread, so that's not what I would say. It takes me a minute sometimes. I would say 52-10. Youngstown State might get an early field goal in this game. keyword is early.
Mhm.
After that, they'll score a garbage touchdown because Ohio State will have their fourth stringers, freshmen. So either way, I do think it's a good tune-up for the Buckeyes before you go into the Western Kentucky game. There's no doubt, and hope you guys enjoy the game. We appreciate all you guys that tune in to the pregame game day previews. We had well over 100 people that watched last week, so thank you guys so much for that support. Be sure, once again, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're brand new, Network 216, and enjoy the game this afternoon. Also, I meant to say good morning and not good afternoon at the very intro, but hopefully none of you guys will comment that in the chat and let me know. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into episode 24 of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. We can't wait to talk to you guys all again next week. And as always, go Buckeyes.